Bam. Bam. My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to Box Center. I'm your host, JSmiff. We're going to talk boxing, my peoples. We're going to do what we do. Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. The two names that just cannot be separated from each other. They just can't. Why? Because who's the best in the 135 division? You have folks who believe Tank is the guy, the number one fighter in the division. And then you have folks who feel like Shakur is the main man. So who is it? Look, I'm going to tell you guys like this. I have my personal opinion. And my personal opinion is formulated based on the fact that Tank Davis could fight Shakur whenever he wants to. Yet, he chooses not to. Off of that right there, I have a feeling this is a fight that Shakur wins, and because of his style of boxing, they know it. Tank Davis don't want to get Zepeda'd. That's just the reality. That's just the reality, my people. Will that fight ever happen? Will Shakur and Tank Davis ever mix it up? Y'all know we've been asking for it. Kempachi. Bam. Salute. Y'all know we've been asking for Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson for how long? 2 years, 3 years? I don't know. Even longer probably. And now we see this fight where Shakur left the haters in shambles. Now, all the people who said that Shakur Stevenson was going to run from Zepeda'd and, Zepeda'd's pressure was going to be too much, Zepeda'd was going to get to him, now they quiet. Or trying to find a different way to not give Shakur his flowers. But y'all had the opportunity to see what Shakur Stevenson is able to do. People got to see, the sense of satisfaction that I personally got when I have people telling me for over a month that Zepeda'd's too strong, Shakur's not going to handle the power, he got the brittle hands, and because of that, he's not going to be able to have a good attack. All of that stuff about Shakur Stevenson, how he's a runner, and he was going to run all night from Zepeda'd. And look at the way the fight played out. He stood there, went toe-to-toe, absolutely, put on a masterclass. Floyd Mayweather-like performance. Cornelius, who's your favorite boxer? I would say right now, Terrence Crawford. I consider Bud the number one fighter in the world right now, pound for pound. But like I said, man, Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, that's a fight that we want. Come on now, think about it. There is no other fight that we want as much as we want Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. I've been saying it. Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, that's the biggest fight in boxing. But that's already going down in September. After that, the next biggest fight is Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. There's no getting around it, my peoples. I know Tank is talking about retiring, and there's talks about him fighting Jake Paul. But I'm going to just tell you like this, my peoples. Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson's name is always going to be mentioned to Tank Davis until the day he retires. I can tell you right there. Bro, Steve, what are your Kyle Wenzel? What are your thoughts on Steve the Dragon Claggett? Good boxer, hard puncher, tough fighter. He took some losses in the game, but he could fight. Cornelius, Tank needs to fight Crawford. Now that doesn't make sense, bro, because Tank Davis is at 135, Crawford fighting at 154, and now moving up to fight Canelo at 168. So that doesn't really make sense. Cornelius, Shakur can't beat Tank. Well, if that was the case, why Tank Davis don't want to fight Shakur? So you're saying Shakur can't beat Tank, but Tank don't believe you. Tank's team don't believe you. Tank's coach don't believe you. All of them have said that they don't want that fight, one way or another. And you see, Tank Davis, when Vasyl Lomachenko pulled out of negotiations with Tank, he could have fought Shakur if he wanted to. He chose not to. So Tank Davis been ducking Shakur for the last couple of years, and I don't know why. Why Cornelius, you and other people look the other way and act like y'all don't know. Y'all act like y'all don't see Shakur say, yo, send the contract. Send it. We gonna fight. Tank out there murdering everybody on Twitter. 30-year-old prospect ain't fight none of the best yet. Come on, Cornelius. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. People want everybody to fight the best. But when it comes to Tank Davis, y'all happy to watch him cherry pick opponents from the 130 division. That's why Lamont Roach is a cherry pick gone wrong. See? You cherry picked the wrong dude. Got your ass bait. So, sometimes, you can keep cherry picking, but sometimes you pick the wrong cherry and get your ass whooped. Kevin Gooney. Wait, I missed. Why isn't Tank fighting Roach again? No, so Tank should be fighting Roach next month. Right? He should be. But we don't know if that's actually going to happen. Let me just point out, Kevin Gooney, I've been questioning whether or not Tank and Lamont Roach are going to fight for a while now. Why? Because as what was supposed to be the fight day, approaches us, it's supposed to be next month. We're not seeing no press conferences. We're not seeing no promotion for this fight. We're not seeing no face-offs. We're not seeing anything that suggests that him and Roach are going to fight. We're assuming it. Hey, at some point they announced a rematch. But think about it, Kevin. When's the last time you seen anything about that fight? So I've been questioning it. And now, Tank Davis got arrested a couple days ago. And that's a situation that can even lead to jail time. So now he's going to be, dealing with court and all that stuff. Legal issues. I don't know if his focus is going to be boxing at this point. But I'll tell you, if you look at the mugshot from his arrest, he don't even look like he in training camp. He don't look like he in training camp in the mugshot. So I'm questioning whether that rematch is even happening, my G. Cornelius, Tank said he's gonna retire. I mean, bro, you know how many fighters we've seen say they're gonna retire? I think we learned by now that fighters say that 3-4 times in their career. So he's saying he's gonna retire. Does that mean he really is gonna retire? We don't know that yet, my God. He got a fight coming up supposedly. And he's supposedly fighting Jake Paul at the end of the year. Of course, anything to duck Shakur. Look, Cornelius, I'm going to tell you why Tank going to retire. I'm going to explain it to you. And you're not going to like this because I know you're a Tank Davis hardcore fan. But I'm going to tell you the reality of why Tank Davis is going to retire from the sport of boxing. At 30 years old, it's very, very hard for Tank to make weight at the 135 division. You got to understand, Tank been at 130, at 135 for how long? 5-6 years? Look at Shakur Stevenson. Shakur's at 135, but he's 28 years old, and he moved up after Tank. Look at Devin Haney already gonna be fighting at 147. Look at Teofimo already gonna be fighting. He's fighting 140, 147. So these guys who are a little bit younger than Tank are already fighting in the same division or higher as their bodies grew bigger. Tank's body grew bigger, but he's still trying to shrivel himself down to 135 to keep fighting smaller guys. And he can't make that weight no more. So his body's giving him no choice but to move up and end up fighting at 140, and he don't want to do that. He don't want to go where Brian Norman Jr. is at. I mean, not, I said Brian Norman Jr., that's welterweight. He don't want to go where Gary Antoine Russell is at. He don't want to go where these 140 pounders, these killers is at. Suriel Matias, 140. He don't want to go over there. That's not the type of smoke he wants. So, what is he going to do? He's going to retire because he cannot keep making. I'm telling you, at 30 years old, he been clinging onto that weight class for a long time. He can't keep making it. Let's see how... Look, I'm going to put it to you like this. Look at the win for Lamar Roach versus Tank Davis for the last fight. That's it. He's showing up to weigh-ins like... That's it. So, Tank Davis got two options. He has to move up in weight so that he can actually make weight comfortably and not starve himself. Or he's going to have to retire because he don't want to fight them dudes at 140. He chose to retire. He like, nah, fuck it. That's it. JJ's in the house. Hello, JSmiff. I'm here. Let's go. Hit the like button, everyone, as you enter. Still working. Appreciate it, my G. Bam. Kevin Gooney. Whoa. Yeah, you have a good point. They usually have press conferences. When is the Stevenson fight? The Stevenson fight was Saturday, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're not seeing no pressers or nothing to suggest that they're going to fight. John Parham, salute. Salute, John Parham. Kevin Gooney, Tank will lose if he isn't training. Maybe too many family issues. That's what I'm saying. Tank is dealing with personal issues right now. By the mugshot, I don't know if the mugshot was taken a couple of days ago, but he definitely did not look like he was in training camp. He looked like he was even a little bit fat. So, John Parham. Está bien. Déjala, déjala. John Parham. Panda admitted he told the Haney's they was up 6 rounds. I asked him on Mill City. 6 rounds? Damn. John Parham. JJ, salute, bro. MP, Tank getting older. He won't so well at 140 upwards. I mean, look, he can still do good at 140. You got to understand. Right now, at 30 years old, Tank Davis is dead in the epicenter of his prime. He's right there. He's as strong as ever, fast. You know, physically, Tank Davis is in his prime. And he's going to be in his prime for another 3-4 years. That's it. When you get to 34, that's when you might start to decline. And it depends. You know, a guy like Terrence Crawford, who's a gym rat, at 38, still performing at the highest level. But if Tank Davis is not, you know, staying focused like that, he could still have another 3 years of prime at the highest level. But those years would have to be at 140. I'm telling ya. They can't make 135 anymore. So that's where you see that the term weight bully, people use it conveniently. You use the term weight bully when you don't like a fighter. Because right now, technically, Tank is a weight bully. He's struggling to make that 135. I promise you. At 30 years old, and he's been in that division for how many years? That's why he's going to retire, because he don't want to end up having a fight at 140 and 147. Pastor JMZ. So which day is the fight between Tank and Roach? 23rd or 30th of August? So Pastor JMZ, technically, neither one right now is an official date, technically. And I'm going to tell you why. After those dates were revealed, Steven Espinoza said that they were struggling to get the budget for the fight. Not only that, they haven't even announced the whole card. They haven't even announced the whole card. So it's like they do not have their shit together at all to make it happen for those dates. Think about it. Think about it. You're talking about August, right? And we're already in July, a month away. No pressers, no nothing, no face-offs. I don't know, man. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. MP, look out, Connor the Kid, Araya, fighter, up and coming, rising 22 and 1 draw. Look him up. I'll check him out, my brother, no doubt. Do me a favor, MP. On one of my videos or shorts anywhere, write me a message, because you know I can't go back and look at these comments after we finish. So send me a message on any video in the comments. I'm going to definitely check them out. Pastor JMZ, I heard he spotted training a few weeks before the incident. I mean, I don't know if he was training or not, but on the mugshot, my brother, if you see the picture, his face looked fat. He looked like he weighed like 150. He didn't look like he was in no training camp. Oh, I heard that he stopped training a few weeks before the incident. Oh, okay. So maybe that explained the way that he's looking. But, you know, it appears Tank is dealing with some personal situations, man. I hope that he can make it out of this one. You know that the allegations against him are such that they can lead to jail time, simply because he has, you know, history with this type of situation. So hopefully he can get like some type of anger management situation and not get in trouble again. Keep it moving. We don't want to see a young fighter in his prime and lose those best years to legal problems. So hopefully everything turns well for him. MP, love the Rolly Garcia win. Yo, man, listen. Rolly's, he's training with Salas, the Cuban, and he was sharper, I believe, than I've ever seen him in my life. I've never seen Rolly that sharp. That jab was so sharp, so consistent. There was just not a lot of rancor doing that night. Rolly's was doing his thing. Once Rolly's hurt Ryan, it was pretty much a wrap. Pastor J, Tank don't want to fight Roach. He done. He needs to give up the belts. It don't look like he want to fight Lamar Roach. It really doesn't. I think that draw took a lot of his confidence away. Because, you know, obviously Tank Davis is a knockout artist. And there's been people he didn't knock out. But I think this draw affected him because of the way that it happened. Roach was in front of his face for 12 rounds, my G. Right there. And he couldn't do it. That's why I told everybody. By watching that fight, what makes you believe Tank Davis is going to knock him out in the rematch? Why? Why would you believe that? There was absolutely nothing about this fight that suggests Tank is going to stop Roach when if they fight again. MP, get out. Now he's made a fortune, Tank. Glad to see Lopez back. Timo Lopez, glad he's back. What do you mean he's back? Because he was supposed to fight Jerome Busenis. That didn't happen. Then with Devin Haney, that fight didn't happen. So I don't know who Teofimo is going to fight next. JJ said there has no tickets for sale yet. I'm telling you, and I've been saying it, the whole situation with Tank Davis and Lamar Roach, the way that it's playing out, I don't know, my people. I really don't know. The way that the situation is developing, I don't know, man. I don't know, my peoples. Look, I want you guys to consider this. The way that the Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford rematch or would-be rematch played out versus the way that Tank Davis versus Lamar Roach rematch is now playing out. When it comes to Errol and Bud, they had a fight date lined up. Then that date was pushed forward. And then we didn't have a date. We were just waiting. And eventually, Errol Spence just came out and said, nah, we're not doing the rematch. It fell through. So now, for Lamar Roach versus Tank Davis, first we had a date. Then that date was pushed forward, and then it's like we don't have a date because Steven Espinosa came out and said that they were struggling with getting a budget. They haven't announced a card. We're about a month away. No press conferences. Yo, son, shut your pie hole, B. You don't see me working over here? Yo, son. Yo. 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 This cat right here going to interrupt me in the middle of this joint. So, you see the way this whole situation is playing out, my peoples. No face-off, no pressers, no nothing that's telling us that this fight is being planned out. And now, of course, the new wrinkle that's added into this whole situation, Tank Davis is dealing with legal problems. So again, is this fight going to happen? JJ Zepeda'd points out there's no tickets available for the fight yet. I don't know. I question whether or not this Lamar Roach versus Tank Davis fight is actually going to happen, or are we going to see the same situation that unfolded between Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, where it just kept being pushed, and eventually it just falls through? Is Tank Davis traumatized from all them hands Lamar Roach put on him? Man, y'all tell me what's going on with that rematch. I honestly don't know. Mikey Banks, Ryan didn't take his steroids that night. Mikey Banks, Tank can make adjustments. He's obviously not going to fight the same fight. I don't think the fight happened. Tank would rather fight women. I mean, Tank is a top-level fighter. I know that he knows how to make adjustments. He's shown that before. But Lamar Roach is also going to make adjustments. Now, is this rematch going to happen? You know, people been questioning it. People been wondering. People been asking. It doesn't look like it, my peoples. If I had to place a bet right now, is the rematch happening? Yes or no? I'm rocking with no. It's not happening. I want to see it. Don't get it twisted. I want to see the rematch just like everybody else. But it just doesn't look like it's happening. Al the Maker. Tank ain't scared of nobody. Don't think the Tank versus Roach versus Shakur. So look. Because I don't think that Tank is scared of nobody. But he is scared of taking that loss to Shakur. Definitely scared of taking that L. That's why he won't fight him. Doesn't want to fight him. Now, Tank versus Roach, that rematch, just like I said, man, I don't know. I question whether or not it's going to happen. But if it does, I got Lamar Roach. Based on the first fight, which I saw him winning, even without the knee, I saw him winning that fight at least 7-5. I feel like he could beat Tank Davis in the rematch. Remember, he didn't go the distance with Tank Davis by running or by trying to survive or by excessive clinching. Nah, Lamar Roach went the distance with Tank by walking him down and putting hands on him, going toe-to-toe, slipping punch. He fought Tank Davis inside of a phone booth. He had Tank backing away, backtracking. And then there was times that Tank Davis would, you know, he stood his ground and Lamar Roach still took it to him. He may be traumatized and not want that rematch. Mikey Banks, if it does, it will be no time soon. I mean, the legal troubles that Tank is facing right now, it don't stop him from fighting, because if he was to fight next month, he's only going to have about one court date between here and then. So it's not like he's going to be, you know, this is a process. The legal proceedings take time. But, you know, the level of concentration that he'll be in during training camp, how is it going to affect him, all of that, and the stress of dealing with legal trouble. So that's another situation that says this fight is probably not happening. But we never know. It hasn't been canceled officially. No announcement has been made. Al the Maker, Roach versus Shakur. Shakur. Nobody beats Shakur. Let me just put it to you like that. Don't even ask. Just know nobody beats Shakur. That's it. He would have to move up, way up, to fight guys that are too big that then he gets beat. But in and around his weight class, nobody touching him. Marcus Evans. I was there live. Shakur the Truth. It was cool to see him live and put on the belt masterclass. Marcus Evans, glad you got to enjoy that live, my brother. You know, people just didn't want to accept what Shakur's able to do. You know, those who are surprised by this performance is because they didn't want to see it. Because we seen him do this before. I refer y'all to Shakur versus Valdez. Shakur versus Harry. He did the same thing. He can fight you in a football field or inside of a phone booth. And either way, he's going to put the beats on you. It's just like that. People just don't want to give Shakur his credit. Kevin Gooney, Stevenson versus Stevenson would be a good fight for both fighters. West does it. Peace, family. What's good? What's the deal, my brother? We talking boxing. You saw Shakur Stevenson left the haters in shambles after Saturday. They say he was going to be running all night. They say he wasn't going to handle Zepeda'd's pressure. Shakur was out there looking like Floyd, bro. Looking like Floyd Mayweather. West does it. Yes, they acted like he didn't cook Herring. Cooked him, stopped him in the 10th. And Jamel Herring is the only person to beat Lamar Roach. But we're going to act like Jamel Herring just an average Joe now. H Money. Salute, my guy. Salute, H Money. Bam. Mikey Banks, do you ever watch MMA? To be honest, I don't watch it much. Maybe when there's like a huge mega fight. But I don't watch it much. I watch some highlights here and there. H Money. Do you think Shakur beat Abdullah Mason? Yes. Without a shred of doubt. Abdullah Mason is not ready for that yet. He's ready for a title shot. He's going to get that vacant title. It's going to be his. Abdullah's not ready for that yet. Not yet, my brother. And look, let me just say this. Abdullah's a special talent. He's also cut from that same cloth. So, if you would have put 20, Abdullah just turned 20 or 22? If you would have put 21 or 22-year-old Abdullah Mason, oh, he's 21, I think. He just turned 21. If you put 21-year-old Abdullah Mason versus 21-year-old Shakur Stevenson, that's a 50-50 fight. They're both cut from that cloth. But right now, Shakur Stevenson is way ahead in that personal and physical development process where he's going to have an edge on Abdullah Mason. Physically, experience-wise, he's going to have too much of an edge. Abdullah Mason wouldn't be able to overcome that. He would need more time to develop physically, mentally, in order to be where Shakur's at right now. West does it. Is Rayo still at 140? I like to see Mason and Rayo fight. So, yeah, well, Rayo lost to Gary Antoine Russell, and he hasn't been back since that fight, and that was at 140. So, right now, I'm assuming Rayo will come back to that same division. We'll have to wait and see. Marcus Evans, Shakur, too skilled for these guys. That shoulder roll was nasty. Nice. I'm telling you, bro, Shakur Stevenson was out there looking like Floyd Mayweather. Looking like Floyd. Mikey Banks. Abdullah is cracking, though, of course. Abdullah Mason is cut from that same cloth that Shakur Stevenson cut. From that cloth. He just early in his career. Come on. The young lion still need a little bit of time. Al the Maker, Shakur is nice. He just don't finish his food. I mean, he hasn't stopped a lot of opponents, but you got to understand that that's one aspect of boxing. Look at Floyd Mayweather. He's considered the greatest fighter of all time. The greatest. And we're not going to go back and be like, damn, Floyd Mayweather, you know, he went the distance with 25 opponents. He just didn't finish his food. We don't say that, right? We just know he beat everybody that they put in front of him. That's it. It's like, let me give you an example, and this is a team sport. It's like in baseball. You're like, oh, they don't hit a lot of home runs. But they winning most of the games. They the winners. They won the World Series. Does it matter that they're not hitting a lot of home runs? Oh, but those are more fan-friendly. People want to see that, right? Basketball is a slam dunk. People want to see the slam dunk. But if you slam dunking and your team losing, how much does that really matter? So Shakur Stevenson is not knocking opponents out like other fighters, but he's beating all of them like not everybody's doing it. And he's making history. At 28 years old, he's already a 3-division champion and a unified champion. At 23. Come on, bro. People gotta give Shakur Stevenson his credit. Gotta give him his credit, my people, already. And you gotta understand, Shakur's gonna keep moving up, obviously. He's gonna keep moving up. So 135 is not gonna be the end of Shakur Stevenson moving up and winning belts and unifying titles. He's not gonna cling on to that division and be a weight bully like Tank Davis. Kevin Gooney, JSmiff versus Zepeda'd. Well, why you gotta wish death upon me, brother? Come on now. Zepeda'd will absolutely pummel me. But that's my guy. He might take it easy. You know, we shadow a little bit. He might not pummel me just because of that. West does it. Shakur gotta save those hands. They best soccer is 1-0. Defense counts. Who's still left at 135? I mean, Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson, they both left. And Andy Cruz is there, by the way. Andy Cruz is a 135-pounder. Don't forget about that. He coming. And there's a few others. I mean, Abdullah Mason is a 135-pounder. Floyd Scofield. And by the way, Floyd Scofield had a spectacular performance in his last fight. You know, the way that he blasted Farmer out of there, that was spectacular. So, a Floyd Scofield versus Shakur Stevenson fight may still be in the cards, even though it fell through. May still be in the cards now. Kevin Gooney, Jamil Stevenson has a lot of mouth and confidence. I would like to see him fight Shakur Stevenson. He ain't ready for that smoke, bro. Don't wish that type of embarrassment upon him. He getting embarrassed, bro. Getting embarrassed, bro. Don't wish that upon him. I'm telling you. It's like I said, man. I want to see Tank Davis fight Shakur. It's almost like we know it's not gonna happen. We know, or there's a lot of evidence out there to suggest that it's not gonna happen. Nah, listen. Kevin Gooney, if somebody asks a stupid question like that, it's okay. Let him ask it. Goofball. But again, I think, let them ask their stupid questions. Let them ask it. Leave it deleted, but next time let them ask it. And let them get cooked at least once. But look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think that it will be a very interesting matchup with Stevenson versus Stevenson. But I think that James is not high profile enough. I think James is not high profile enough to get that fight. Especially right now, Shakur Stevenson, you know, he's on fire. He's on fire right now. His star power, his stock keep skyrocketing. It's like, that's why Shakur Stevenson remind me of Floyd Mayweather, by the way. The more he wins, the more people hate him. The more they want to see him lose. And he keeps proving them wrong. You know how many people was in the chat talking about he was gonna run all night from Zepeda'd, and that's the only way he could win that fight because he can't handle the pressure? I haven't seen anybody, address that. None of those people who said those things has been back to say something like, damn, yo, I was wrong. Shakur Stevenson went toe to toe and did what he said he was gonna do. Nobody has come back to acknowledge that. So before the fight, they ready to swarm with the hate and, just go all out with the Shakur's gonna run. He's a runner. He's gonna be boring. He's gonna put us to sleep. So what happens when the fight don't play out the way you thought it would? You go into hiding? Yo, this fight, the way that it played out and the way that fans are acting, it reminds me of when Crawford beat the crap out of Errol. The next day I was looking for Errol's past fans. I couldn't find them. West does it. Nah, Jay. We don't double back for no love. I feel you, bro, but come on now. Where's if you say that this guy was gonna run all night, and now you saw that he did not run, why you can't come back and admit it that you was wrong about that? You expected him. Now there was a couple of people in this morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. There was a couple of people who showed up and said, yo, I thought Zepeda'd was gonna knock him out. I was wrong. But the majority of people who was making that prediction, I don't know if their internet went down, if their phone is not working, their service provider is dealing with issues. I don't know where they at. They just disappeared out of nowhere. Kevin Gooney, I think Edgar Berlanga was getting high, not training. He wasn't ready for that fight. He got beat bad. Nah, bro. He trained for that fight. He just happened to be a hype job. That's just the reality. I'm telling you what a lot of people just don't want to say. Edgar Berlanga is a hype job. Edgar Berlanga is the classic case of when keeping it real goes wrong. He tried to keep it real, and Hamza Shiraz kept it realer. That's it. That's it right there. JSmiff, JSmiff, you have to do a wellness check. Tell you, we're going to have to do a wellness check on a lot of people after that performance. Yo, Zendejas. Shakur whooping Zepeda'd so bad was such a traumatic experience for Shakur Stevenson haters that I had to block Hash Bash. I had to block him, bro. He already started hitting me up in videos, in other videos. Yo, you got exposed. You don't respect fighters. You don't care about boxing. I'm like, yo, Shakur hurt you that bad that now you want to attack me? Nah, man, I'm blocking you. You cooked. You're cooked. So that's the type of beating that Shakur gave Zepeda'd that left the haters in shambles. Shakur left the haters in shambles, my people. West does it. They talk like Zepeda'd was doing well on the broadcast. Listen, Zepeda'd, let's not cap, right? Zepeda'd did pretty good in the first 2-3 rounds. In the first 3 rounds, he did good. But after that moment that he landed that shot on Shakur that kind of wobbled him, he said he wasn't hurt, and I believe him. I think what happened, I know what happened because I said it during the fight. I said this. He caught Shakur with his feet squared. As Shakur was shifting, boom, he caught him. And that's why he made him wobble. But he didn't really hurt him like that. It was a hard shot. But I think we now get to see, we witnessed that Shakur does have a chin. All the people who said Shakur never been tested, he's soft. We saw Shakur eat Zepeda'd's biggest shot. Never went down. Zepeda'd's a guy with 25 knockouts and an 80% knockout percentage. Now how can you say Shakur don't got a chin? Or he ain't been tested? With a guy that was throwing like 5,000 punches. Yo, Shakur faced a guy with an 80% knockout percentage who throw like 50,000 punches around. And still was out there looking like the Matrix. West does it. Shakur had the same moment Crawford had with Errol. He realized he can't hurt him. Iris, yeah, he felt that. Yeah, look, that was a decent shot that he felt, but yo, he got hit with some good shots. We never saw Shakur Stevenson go down. So the questions about can Shakur Stevenson take a shot, there's your answer right there. So I asked the Shakur Stevenson haters, are you done with bringing up the De Los Santos fight? Are you done? That's it? Or you still want to bring up De Los Santos? Y'all tell me. Marcus Evans, I'm not going to lie. Once Zepeda'd caught Shakur, my heart dropped. But he took it. He had to go to the bathroom and throw water on my face. I thought it was over. Yo, that was a moment where a lot of people started jumping in on the chat. Like, yo, Zepeda'd's winning. Shakur's in trouble. But now you saw right after the shot, Shakur keeping his composure, counter him, doing what he was supposed to do, sticking with the game plan. I never had a doubt of what was going to happen in this fight. Punisher, you do know Zepeda'd doesn't have one-punch KO power. Well, Punisher, you do know that the overwhelming majority of boxers don't have one-punch KO power. Like, is that a new bar that you put in on Zepeda'd? Because before the fight, you didn't mention that. Before they fought each other, you didn't say Zepeda'd doesn't have one-punch KO power. What else Zepeda'd doesn't have that you want to bring up? Damn, Punisher. Why you got to do it like that, bro? What else Zepeda'd doesn't have? My guy say he don't have one-punch KO power. Come on. He has 80% knockout percentage. 80%. Knocked out 25 opponents. So your comeback is that you don't have one-punch knockout power? Wow. Come on, man. Find a different way, a different route. West does it. Come on. Shakur been sparring Crawford and Ward. He got to have a chin. Of course. Of course he got to have a chin. But you know the haters are going to question it up until he get tested. Well, there you go. He got tested. What you got to say now? It's almost like, that's what I'm telling y'all. Shakur Stevenson haters are sitting somewhere with Terrence Crawford haters. Because the way that Crawford did Errol, they went into hiding. The way that Shakur beat Zepeda'd, his haters went into hiding. I can't find them. And when they show up, look what they got. You know that Zepeda'd got one-punch KO power. Like, that's it. That's what you got. Bro, damn, Punish, I can't even believe you came, that's what you came up with. That Zepeda'd don't have one-punch KO power. Wow. You gotta do better, bro. We gotta do better than that. That's my personal opinion. We gotta do better than that, my people. Hold on. So, again, my peoples, Shakur Stevenson, according to the haters, was going to run all night. Just like Terrence Crawford, according to the haters, was going to get pummeled by Errol Spence. So, after Terrence Crawford put the Swiss, the Dre, and the Apple beats on Errol Spence, I was looking for the people that said he was going to get beat up because he's too little. I couldn't find everybody. Everybody disappeared. And now, everybody that said Shakur was going to run from Zepeda'd all night long, I can't find them. They disappeared too. And the few that show up say stuff like, well, you know that Zepeda'd don't have no KO power, no one-punch KO power. William Zepeda'd has 25 knockouts and an 80% knockout ratio. And somebody's gonna say, well, he don't got one punch KO power. Like, come on, where's the people that said Errol Spence was gonna beat Terrence Crawford, and the people that said William Zepeda'd was gonna stop Shakur Stevenson? Where are they? Are they all hiding together in the same place? Yeah, tell me. Punisher, Hannibal. They was hoping Shakur struggle with Zepeda'd. You know, it's not that they was hoping Shakur would struggle with Zepeda'd. It's that they wanted him to lose, or they wanted him to win running, so they could say that. They thought, I already have people pulling the running card on me all week. Like, yeah, Shakur's gonna win, but he's gonna run all night. And he's gonna be boring. He's just gonna run circles the ring the whole night on a bicycle. So they wanted him to lose, but since they knew he was gonna win, they wanted him to win running, so they could say, I told you so. But since he took it to Zepeda'd, went toe-to-toe, blow for blow, they went into hiding. Just like Errol Spence fans. They hiding in the same place somewhere. Punisher, I wasn't here. Wait a minute. I wasn't here. So how would I mention anything? Now, what I'm saying is, I seen Zepeda'd fight, and he has an overwhelming style, but doesn't have like the power like a prime Canelo. Already know it, just an example. I understand you wasn't here, Punisher, but the point is that you being a hater, because what is the point of bringing up one punch KO power? Why do you bring that up? Shakur Stevenson put together a master performance versus a highly ranked, undefeated fighter, and that's the angle that you look for. That's what you bring up. No credit to Shakur Stevenson for a master Floyd Mayweather-like performance. Then you sound like a hater, bro, because that's the one thing that you can find. Oh, he doesn't have one punch KO power. That makes you sound like a hater, bro. It's like instead of seeing that Zepeda'd's an undefeated, highly ranked fighter who's coming off of beating Farmer, your go-to is that he's not a one-punch KO artist, when most fighters are not one-punch KO artists? Come on, bro. Imada, 210. I was rooting for Zepeda'd, but I have to give it to Shakur. He did what he had to do. Respect. Imada, 210, my brother. Salute. Appreciate you dropping in. So I will say, Imada, 210. I appreciate the fact that you show respect to the champion. You know, you could root for Zepeda'd and still respect the champion for doing what he did. The funny thing is, and I know you've seen it, look how somebody just said, well, you know, but Zepeda'd don't got one punch knockout power. No credit to Shakur. Instead of acknowledging what he did on Saturday, they rather start discrediting Zepeda'd, talking about what Zepeda'd cannot do. He's not a one-punch knockout artist. And yesterday somebody told me, yeah, but Zepeda'd's not really all that. Who he beat, really? So it's like, that's the usual hate tactic. Discredit the opponent, so you don't have to acknowledge greatness. That's the way that you're going to acknowledge it. Punisher, it's not hard to understand what I meant. Of course, you meant that you a hater. That instead of giving flowers to Shakur, you prefer to discredit Zepeda'd and say, oh, he don't got power like that. Nobody was talking about power like that. Why did you bring up one punch knockout power? Because you're hating on Shakur, my brother. Notice that you haven't said a single positive thing about Shakur's performance. But you wanted to point out that Zepeda'd doesn't have one punch knockout power. Cue in the hater tactics. Guido Pulido.
Hola, papá.
¿Ven conmigo?
No puedo taparlo.
¿Te ayudo?
Mi amor, tú dime.
Date la vuelta para que te sientes conmigo. Ven, da la vuelta por allí.
Pato.
Guido Pulido, I gave Shakur his flowers. He gave the fans a fight. That's boxing. That's what I'm talking about. If people been asking Shakur to fight, asking him to go toe-to-toe, why would he finally go toe-to-toe? You can't just give him his credit. Be like, yeah, yo, he's that dude. He can win like that too. But instead of giving him credit, look what you do, Punisher. Well, you know, Zepeda'd don't got one punch knockout power. It's like, huh? Like, really? Like that? That's the go-to, bro? Damn. It's not, look, bro, it's not that you mentioned it. That is the only thing you mentioned. I understand what you're saying, Punisher. About Shakur taking the shots at Peter, all that. But again, bro, we know the haters. Y'all will not give credit. Y'all just look for an angle to hate. But I digress. Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis. Why is it that I only see Tank Davis fans explaining why Shakur should fight somebody else? In this morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast, somebody was saying that Shakur need to go fight somebody else and leave Tank alone because he's not going to get that fight anyways. I say, keep your foot on his neck. So, why the same person that's still complaining, still saying Canelo got to fight Benavidez is saying Tank don't got to fight Shakur? Why? Why, even with Benavidez being in a whole different division, Benavidez at 175, and you still telling Canelo to fight him? But you're not telling Tank Davis to fight Shakur, who's in your same division? Why not? Why not? Why Tank Davis fans is scared of Shakur just like Tank? He matter to Tank. I can't talk down on Zepeda'd performance. He gave it his all, and I can respect it. It just wasn't enough. Even Shakur even said it was his hardest fight, but still came out with the W. Great fight. Listen, William Zepeda'd is a top-level fighter. Zepeda'd's a guy who can fight, who got power, who has stopped 25 opponents, 80% knockout percentage. So, to see a fighter who can, you know, have that career that Zepeda'd's having and go up against Shakur Stevenson, he took it to him for 12 rounds. Zepeda'd wasn't there, you know, feeling lucky to be there or just trying to make it through. Zepeda'd was there to win. He just didn't make it. You know, Shakur Stevenson is a special fighter. That's all that is. But, like I said, we've seen the same people who said that Shakur Stevenson was going to run all night from Zepeda'd. Now they're looking for different excuses and different reasons and different explanations. They got all the explanations in the world except, yo, I was wrong, B. Shakur's really that guy. He really went face-to-face, toe-to-toe for 12 rounds. I was wrong. They just can't say that. They can't bring themselves to admit that they was wrong. How many people did I try to say to? Bro, Shakur's gonna do him in and make it look easy. Why are we talking about that? Why? Marv V. Kurt needs to go for the undisputed at 140. He's getting too big, at least from the look of it, especially if Keyshawn's staying at 135. Marv, come on, Marv. Did you forget that Keyshawn Davis lost his title in the 135 division because he couldn't make weight? He's going to 140. Keyshawn Davis is going to 140. He'll be there for his very next fight. So, I'm expecting Shakur to pursue undisputed at 135. Although that's going to be hard because Tank Davis is going to duck him. But when Tank Davis retired, if he does have to fight in Jake Paul, that title's going to be vacant, and Shakur's going to scoop it up. So right now, it's Shakur Stevenson pursuing that undisputed status in the 135 division. Punisher. Bro, read my comments so you know why I said it. When I hopped on the live, that's the first thing I heard. Zepeda'd, all those KO I've seen. I got you, my brother. What you see, you telling me that you dragging it, you're still bringing that shit up. Move it on, my guy. Hannibal. Keyshawn moving up to 140. That's what I'm saying. Marv V. That's right, he did miss weight. Them boys gonna have to fight each other because they'll always be in the same division. You can forget about that. We're never gonna see Keyshawn and Shakur fighting each other. For, you know, I think that for whatever reason fans don't want to respect it, I respect it. They're two fighters. They know each other. They have a personal relationship. They've already made it clear. I'm not going to keep pressing that button. I would love to see that showdown. But if they already said they're not going to fight each other, I'm not going to keep pressing it. That's a waste of time. They're never going to fight each other. Hannibal, Shakur's the best at 135. Ain't nobody touching him. You see why Tank Davis don't want to fight him. He know that if he does, he's going to get Zepeda'd. Imada, and to the people who say Zepeda'd don't have KO power are delusional. 80% knockout percentage, bro. But now, in order to hate on Shakur, they got to separate it. They got to separate between KO power and one-punch KO power. George Polito, yeah, Zepeda'd is a badass fighter. Shakur stood with him and made it look easy. And Shakur stood there in front of him and made it look easy. I would say that Shakur is a A-class fighter, nothing else to prove. That's it. He showed everybody that didn't believe. That's why the haters are quiet and looking for different reasons to try to excuse. Hannibal, Tank just needs to retire if not going to unify. Mr. V, that's the fight, Key and Kerr. Mix Abdullah and Africa. And you got the new four kings. Damn, so what happened? I'm saying, Mr. V, what's your take on Tank? You don't think Tank is in that mix? D. Willer, what's up, OG? What's the deal, D. Willer? Salute, my brother. Damn, Marv, you want Shakur to fight everybody but Tank? But the biggest fight in boxing? Punisher. All right, bro. Just making sure you know why. I got you, my G. Ain't trying to hate. I like core defense. That's what impressed me. Now he took a shot from Zepeda'd. It was that defense that did it. All love, bro. You already know, Punisher. JJ's in their house. Just exactly like Valdez fight. And I know JJ's in their house. You was there when I said Shakur versus Zepeda'd was going to be Valdez 2.0. And how many people in the chat said, nah, Zepeda'd is not Valdez. He's going to apply pressure on Shakur. Man, I know a lot of people feeling goofy as hell. Goofy as hell. That's why I'm dropping an episode of Goofiest of the Oofiest. I'm going to drop that episode. Mr. V, Tank is only for the money. He said it. He never fights the young hungries. Because, but bro, Tank is only 2 years older than Shakur. Him and Shakur is almost the same age. They fighting for legacy. He only fighting for cash. Can't keep watching Tank fight gimmicks. I know, bro, but it's not who what we can and can't keep watching him fight. I'm saying who should he fight? Because at the end of the day, if it's for money, he's gonna make more money fighting Shakur than anybody that he fought. Maybe with the exception of Ryan Garcia. He is gonna make money, a lot of it. The same way Teofimo, the same way, you know. All I'm saying is, my brother, if you're saying that he don't want to fight the young lions, him and Shakur is about the same age. 2 years is not a lot of difference. MS, Shakur got my respect again. There you go. That's what people should say. Everybody who says Shakur's going to run, Shakur's not going to be able to handle pressure, all that, should come back and say, yo, he got my respect. Marv, he should fight Core. But like you said before, he won't. Okay, but Shakur got to keep that foot on his neck. Look, All I'm saying, Mr. V, you see how you're pointing out these other fighters that Shakur should fight? Think about Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. People still pressuring Canelo to fight Benavidez. Till this day, Benavidez is at 175. They're not even in the same division no more. And people saying, Canelo, go fight Benavidez. After Crawford, go fight Benavidez. So, why not keep putting that same pressure on Tank to go fight Shakur? Why simply just be okay with it? Well, Tank is in it for the money, doing the gimmicks. Why not put that same pressure that we applying on Canelo? Go fight Benavidez. Go fight Benavidez. He's at the tail end of his career. Canelo's older than Tank. Why not? Why apply that pressure on Canelo, but not keep that same energy with Tank Davis? Why would Tank Davis is about, well, he's about the money. He already said it. Do what you want to do. Nah. He says it's about the money. But Mr. V, you skipping the fact that he also say that he the best. He also say that he the guy in the 135 division. Why not ask him to prove it? Why not apply that pressure to prove that he is that guy in the division? The same way that people apply it on Canelo. I see bias, my brother. I see bias in the way that people want to let Tank fly. Well, he said, he said he's going to do this. He said he's going to do that. Let him do him. Why? We apply pressure to other fighters and keep that foot on their neck. Go fight this guy. Go fight this guy. But with Tank Davis, do you, my G, whatever you want to do. Bam. This is your planet, your world. We live in it. Do you, family. Why? I don't get that logic. I try to apply the same pressure with everybody. Everybody. If I'm applying the pressure on this fighter, got that boot on his neck, I'm applying it on that fighter too. I'm just keeping it fair for everybody. Keeping the same energy. That's why I said Dimitri Bivol duck Benavidez. Because he dropped the belt when Benavidez was forcing the mandatory. So if I said other people duck, then he ducked too when he dropped the belt and avoid the mandatory. It matter. Now we got Bam and Barrios this weekend. My homeboy boxers, I'm excited. And will you be doing a live stream this Saturday? Come on, Imada 210. You know it. You know I'm going to be live on Saturday, my peoples. Of course. Fight night with JSmiff is going to be on fire. And I'm going to say, man, this weekend that just passed, the women showed out on Friday. The men showed out on Friday. On Saturday, it was an amazing weekend of boxing, my people. Whoa, I almost lost my voice. All those fights. All those fireworks. Mr. VV, you're right, OG, but Tank gonna catch another charge before he catch Shakur. Respectfully, I want Tank to be on a straight and narrow, but Tank mindset is not there to be great. I'm gonna tell you what, my brother. When it comes to Tank Davis, his personal situation, I feel real bad because it's like he's dealing with those personal demons. He just haven't been able to get past it. And I just hope that, personal situations like that are not going to bring the end to his career. Young fighter, right now in the center of his prime. I'm worried about him because that he's already had situations like this in the past. He has a history. So once you already have a history, any arrest for this situation can be the one that they surprise you and say, yo, you're going to jail, let's go. It could be any, you never know. So hopefully he's going to be able to get some anger management or something like that and actually get better and get it together. That's my take on that. Rick Rivera, I think Tank beats Shakur, but can lose to Zelda. What you think? To Zelda, to Zepeda'd? I think that's what you mean. Or to Roach? Nah. Shakur Stevenson beats Tank Davis by unanimous decision. That's the reason why Tank Davis has been ducking all these years. He knows if Tank gets in the ring with Shakur, he knows that he's gonna get Zepeda'd. He knows it. JJ's in the house. JSmiff, I'm Mexican, Italian. But when I talk to full Mexican people in Mexico, lots of people don't like Canelo because they say he ducks. Lots of people say the same thing. It's like, you have to understand, my brother, or I think we all seen it. Every superstar fighter, especially if they're elite level and have a lot of accomplishments, they're all going to have a crowd of people who say that. All of them. There's a crowd of people who tell you Crawford ain't beat nobody. Shakur ain't beat nobody. Arrow ain't beat. Like, it's crazy to see how delusional people are when they don't like a fighter. Mr. VV, yeah, Tank got them demons for sure. He dealing, man. He dealing with them personal demons. And he just haven't been able to overcome it. So that's why I say there's a possibility that right now he ain't even thinking about boxing. Right now his focus should be on his personal life, getting everything together. Mr. Rivera, Zepeda'd sorry. Zepeda'd sorry. Damn, Mr. Rivera, don't disappoint me like that. How you gonna say that, man? How you gonna say that? An undefeated fighter who's highly ranked in all 4 sanctioning bodies is sorry now because Shakur beat him? Yesterday, I said, Shakur did not run. Didn't do what the haters said he was going to do. Cue in the Zepeda'd hate. Cue in the discrediting Zepeda'd technique. When I said cue in the Zepeda'd hate, I was talking Rick Rivera about what you're saying right there. You hate Shakur so much that instead of giving him credit, you prefer to hate on Zepeda'd. That's nasty work, brother. Nasty work, my people. But again, Shakur Stevenson, at 28 years old, is one of the most accomplished young fighters. That's it. The accomplishments are just going to keep adding up. Imada, Rick, man, sorry for the typo. Not himself. Oh, Rick, no. I'm saying yes, I meant Zepeda'd to the other question. Oh, okay, I got you, my brother. JJ's in the house. I seen Bam on a live today, and he said, if you're not going to watch my fight, please watch the Barrios fight. Don't know if it's at the same time. Just letting you guys know. Bam is a very humble champion, a very humble kid. I think that he probably said that because you're talking about Manny Pacquiao. I know that he's cool with Mario Barrios. You know, that's his boy fighting. But his boy's fighting a legend. He knows how big that is. So I understand why he would say that. I get it. And I respect that. JJ's in the house. I seen, oh no. Vadim Dragin. I'm sorry, my brother, I'm not reading your name correctly. Hello from Russia. Ooh, Russia's in the building. Salute, my brother. Bam. And shout out to everybody from Russia who has been tuning in to Box Center. I don't know how you guys have been finding me. That's crazy. I appreciate you, my brother. Bam. Healthy Crackhead. Sup, JSmiff? What's up, Healthy Crackhead? Yo, we talking boxing. Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis. That's the fight to make. But people don't want to apply the pressure on Tank. And Tank don't want to fight Shakur. Is that fight ever going to happen? Is Tank Davis even going to fight that rematch with Lamar Roach? Those are magic questions. Imada 210. Bam versus Barrios are brothers, and they are very respectful champions and humble. I'm going to have to watch them both at the same time. I'm gonna watch them both. If they fight at the same time, I'm going to watch them both. I'm telling you that right now. Imada 210. And yes, both fight are going to be at the same time. Not necessarily, my brother. Not necessarily. Because you know that when you have 2 cards at the same time, sometimes they don't play out the way you think. Because, you know, in this card, the first 2 fights ended in a knockout early. This card, the fights went the distance. So Bam and Barrios, they might not end up stepping in the ring at the same time. Let's see how it plays out. But I'm definitely watching both. If they both happen at the same time, yo, I'm going to have one of them on the TV and one of them on the laptop. I watch them both. Healthy Crackhead. Tank will knock the shit out of Zepeda'd with that lead hook. I mean, if Tank Davis fight William Zepeda'd, I got him winning that fight. I got him winning it. I think he does Zepeda'd, catch him in between punches and knocks him out. Or if it does go the distance, he'll beat him like he beat Pitbull. Sam Smith, Shakur at this level will be hard to beat. Tank had trouble with Roach. He will avoid Shakur and Roach again. He wants to retire without loss. That's what I've been trying to tell people, man. Tank being so close to retirement, because he already says that he's going to, he can already see himself riding off into the sunset with that O. Undefeated champion Tank Davis retires. And for that reason, it's even harder for me to see him fighting Shakur. But as long as he's active, I say Shakur got to keep applying that pressure. The fans want that fight. They got to keep applying that pressure as long as he's active. And I said it earlier, my peoples, for those of you who wasn't here in the live, the reason why I think Tank Davis is retiring is because he's struggling making that 135 division. I'm telling you. He's been there for what, like 5-6 years already, making 135. He's struggling. At 30 years old, look at Devin, look at Shakur, look at Teofimo. All of these guys have been moving up in weight classes, and they're younger than Tank Davis. Tank Davis already 30, clinging on to that 135 division so he can fight smaller guys. He can't make that weight. So now he has to either fight at 140 and fight the big guns over there. Gary Antoine Russell is up there. Subriel Matias is up there. Or he's going to have to retire because he's not going to be able to keep making 135. His body been outgrew that weight. We don't call Tank Davis a bully because we don't want to. He's a very famous guy. He's very popular. Tank Davis walk around weighing over 150 pounds. Probably 160 or more. He can't make 135 anymore. That's why he's going to retire. He don't want to move up. He don't want to. Healthy Crackhead. Is Boxing for Breakfast coming up tomorrow, bro? Yes, my guy. Boxing for Breakfast is on Mondays through Fridays, starting at 6 in the morning, Eastern Time, sharp. When there's big fights, I'll be having Boxing for Breakfast on Saturday and Sunday. We had to do it this Saturday and Sunday because the weekend was too crazy. But it's guaranteed that you're going to get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning from Mondays through Fridays at 6 a.m. Healthy Crackhead. Tank retiring because he can't fix a problem he has. I mean, I think he's retiring because he don't want to end up having to move up in weight and fight the big guns and lose that O. He's retiring, I would say, because he wants to retire undefeated. He's made a lot of money to where he can live out the rest of his life without having to fight again. So let me retire and not risk taking that L. That's how I see it. My peoples, I'm about to end this live, but before I do, y'all know how I get it popping. I want to give a shout out to everybody who showed love, everybody who tuned in. Healthy Crackhead, Imada 210, Sam Smith, JJ Zendejas, Vadim Dragin from Russia. Salute my brother. Rick Rivera, Marv VV, John Parham, MS, Punisher, D. Willer, Hannibal, everybody who tuned in, my people. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. Box Center is your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. We headed to #1. I know that right now we're only 1,600 strong, but we headed for #1, my people. It's only the inevitable. They're going to catch on. They're going to see what's going on out here. and they're going to have to tune in. Y'all already know. Tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, Boxing for Breakfast is going to be lit. Lit, my people. We're going to be going at it about Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios, Bam, and that whole card. We're going to be going about both of those cards. We're going to go at it. There's going to be a little bit of trash talking. There's going to be a little bit of going back and forth. And we're going to do what we do, my people. We're going to talk boxing. JJ's in the house. God bless you, JSmiff, and the Box Center family. Great work. Once again, my people, by the way, a lot of y'all, I don't know if those of you in here hit that like button. A lot of people, I don't know if because we was talking about Tank Davis, ducking Shakur, a lot of people was ducking that like button. So if you didn't hit that like button, you should. My peoples, I'm getting the hell out of here. Salute to everybody, man. Y'all already know what it is.